Hello and welcome to Mickey Collects Poke, where I talk about anything and everything Pokemon TCG. In today's video, we are heading to a town league held at Goodness Gracious Games. It's a shop that I've gone to quite often, so I'm rather familiar with it. But there are only 32 players allowed inside this particular town league, and I am not inside the balloted 32. I'm number 4 on the waiting list though, so fingers crossed. If not, then I'll just turn this video into a food vlog, right? For deck choice, I'm going with Arceus Goodra with AG/VMAX. A little bit unorthodox, but I suspect that might be a few meal tanks today, so the AG/V helps with it, and then the AG/VMAX helps with the Kyurem VMAX, as well as it might help with the Giratina V-Star as well. Although I must say I am really afraid to start with AG/V because it has 3 retreat costs and it will be quite a bother to bring it back to the bench. So I brought a few cancelling colognes, might make some last minute changes to use that to counter Miltanks instead. Yeah, I know, not super prepared, or rather not the most prepared, but yeah, still wish me luck. Like what I mentioned earlier, there were 32 packs in this town league. So the most popular deck was Giratina V-Star with the Lost Zone 2 box, followed by Mew VMAX. So there were a lot of Drapions, so Mew VMAX didn't do particularly well. And then we have 4 people who brought the Lost Zone 2 box either with Radiant Greninja or Radiant Charizard, but I believe most of them played Radiant Charizard. And then coming in with 3 each is Arceus Goodra and Palkia Inteleon. Regigigas didn't see a lot of popularity, so just the 2 of them brought Regigigas, including the winner of the last town league, Jitmin. We played 6 rounds of best of 1 format, and thankfully I was at the featured table for 5 of them, so that is why we are able to get some footages of my gameplay. So thank you, Jeremy from Pack Opening Party. So for round 1, I was paired up against Zamir, so you can follow his YouTube channel right over here. So he was playing a Lost Zone Dialga V-Star deck, very unorthodox, very special, which is something I like. So he has a bad start with Dialga V, and I managed to capitalize on that and get the win. Game 2 wasn't recorded, so this is Game 3 against Yuxian, who was playing a Giratina V-Star deck. He finished top 4 in the Singapore Regionals with a Giratina V-Star deck as well, so I was really worried about this game. I won't go into a play-by-play analysis for my matchups. That will be in another video. I won't go into a play-by-play analysis of what happened in all the games. That will be in a separate video. But I managed to win this game because I managed to draw better, and Yuxian made some changes to his deck before the town league, and that swung the game in my favor. For the next game, we were paired up against Baining, who was playing an Arceus Goodra deck, so it's a mirror matchup. So he was in the lead because he started first and he could have gotten the first attack up. But luckily for me, he did not search for the switch when he used his Star Buff ability, and that swung the game to my favor, and I managed to press on my advantage for the win. For game 4, I was up against Keenan, and then he was playing a Lost Zone 2 box, which has a spicy card and Regigigas for the VMAX matchups. But thankfully for me, he only managed to start with the Regigigas, and there was this point of time where he bossed out my Goodra V, and then we just passed to each other over and over until I managed to retreat and then charge up my Goodra V star using the Arceus V, and then I managed to secure the lead and the game after that. Game 6 was up against Kenway's Pokemon Inteleon. He started first, so there was a very big worry that he would knock out one of my Vs in his turn 2. So I didn't bench another Pokemon because that will require him to get a choice belt for the knockout. Thankfully for me, he cross-switched the Goodra V but didn't have the choice belt. And by then my Goodra V was charged up. I just needed to evolve it to the V-Star to start the ball rolling. And then because I already have a very favorable matchup against a Palkia V-Star, I just pressed on the advantage for the win. So I finished 6-0 at the Town Lake, and we all went to have a great meal together after that. Okay, so now that the Town Lake is over, I would like to show you the interview with the winner of today's Town League. Yep, it's still me. I won the Town League! So yeah, after thoughts about today's tournament, I made a last minute decision to take out the AG/V and VMAX from the deck because I made a bet that I wouldn't meet any Miltanks or Current VMAXs. And the gamble paid off because I didn't meet any of them, so there was more consistency in my deck with the additional Melanie, and I believe it was
2 hours later.
the Canceling Cologne. Yeah, I was still a little bit afraid of Miltank. Luck definitely played a big factor. Anyone who won a tournament and doesn't tell you that luck played a part is definitely lying. But the most important thing that I did right was to not make any mistakes. Because many times the person who wins is not the one with the most skill level, it's the one that makes the least mistakes. There were two particular matchups that I was really worried about when I was playing. First one was in game 3, I believe, against a Giratina V star from Yuxian. He finished in the top 4 of the Singapore Regionals with Giratina V-Star, and Arceus Goodra does fall hard to Giratina V-Star because it can take 4 prizes by just 1 Pokemon. But luckily for me, he took out his 2 Jammer and his Lost Vacuum was prized, I believe, so he couldn't get rid of my 2 big Parasols. The other matchup that I was worried about was the mirror match, so I was playing another Arceus Goodra. So this was piloted by Pining. We had good conversations before and after our matchup on how to most effectively pilot the Arceus Goodra. And during our match, he started first and managed to get the turn 1 energy on Arceus V. But thankfully for me, he made a huge mistake by evolving the Arceus V to a V-Star, using Star Buff, and then forgetting to take the switch to bring the Arceus V-Star from the bench to the active. So that left the Goodra V in the active without any energy, and I managed to capitalize on that mistake and take the free 2 prizes. Still pretty shocked that I managed to win a Town League, which is why I wanted to film this right after I reach home. Arceus Goodra is a deck that you expect to do well, but not to really win the whole thing. So I guess the outside chance of Arceus Goodra really winning a tournament really happened. So yeah, you can't spell Goodra without good. Closing thoughts, I think I did get lucky, but I also managed to capitalize on my opponent's mistakes, which really helped me in this case. Plus, I managed to get in quite a few matches on PTCGO before this Town League, so that definitely helped. So if you are a new player and you want more tips on how to play better, practice is definitely the most important advice that I'll give. Because you want to know what you should do against certain matchups. So for example, if I play against Palkia and Talion, I have to play this way. If I'm playing a Lost Zone 2 box, I should play that way, so on and so forth. That only comes with more practice. So number one, you don't make any mistakes while playing against these decks. And number two, you don't spend a lot of times thinking of what move to make next, because you have been in this scenario before. Alright, I think I've spoken enough. It's close to midnight and I do need my rest. So thank you for coming to the end of this video. I know there isn't a lot of vlogging content because the Town League fixtures kept coming up and up and up, so I didn't really have time to film in between fixtures. So I do apologize for that. But still, thank you for coming to the end of this video. Sending you lots of love. See you in the next one.